Hi everyone, welcome to this team training webinar. My name is Peter and I'm a technical support associate here at Upkeep. And today we're going to dive into the ins and outs of this product for a limited technician user on the iOS mobile app. So for our agenda today, I'll go over the role of this user and guide you on general navigation. And finally, I'll show you how to create and process work orders. So let's get started. Before we start using the app, we need to know what the role of a limited tech user is. So these users are good for processing and completing out work orders assigned to them from an admin. They can edit work orders they create, but not ones created from others. Also, these users can only view their created or assigned work orders. And this is mainly designed to help control the scope of what they're seeing in the app and not everyone else's data. So let's move along, and now let's dive straight into the app and see what it looks like to navigate as a limited tech user. So I have two screens right here. I have logged in as an admin user on this web app on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, I'm using the mobile app logged in as a limited tech user. All right, so if you click on those three horizontal lines on the top, that's how I can get through each section of the app. Let's start with work orders. So this is where you manage your daily activities, such as your assigned jobs from your admin. Notice how in the admin view, there's more work orders. That's because, again, as a limited tech, you can only see your assigned ones or ones that you've created. If I want to see my due work orders more visually, I can do that in a calendar month-to-month view. Let's say I want to see the ones, something that's due on June. I can just click there and see I have something coming up for June 1st, that HVAC repair. Locations, this is where you'll manage your primary and sub-locations. Primary means it's like the main building, warehouse, or plant. Sublocation means it's like a component of that. So an example would be building 6 is the primary location. Sublocations would be different floors, 1, 2, 3, right here. If an admin assigns me a primary location, like building 6, I'm able to see all its corresponding sublocations. Let's say an admin only assigned me just a specific sublocation, like floor 1. I'm only able to see that floor 1 and its corresponding parent location called building 6, but I would not be able to see floors 2 and 3. So that's important to note there. Let's go into assets now. So assets are pretty much the equipment and machinery that your team is managing, and very similar setup to locations in the sense that you have something called parent and child assets, parent being the main equipment and child assets being the components of that. And just like locations, if you're a limited tech and you're assigned like a main parent asset, then you can see its corresponding child assets. But if you're only assigned, let's say, child asset 2, then I can see that in the parent asset, but I would not be able to see child asset 1. Parts and inventory, this is where your consumables live. This is a little different from assets and locations in the sense that as a limited tech user, you can see everyone's uh, consumables or parts. So you can see parts that were created by another admin or even another regular technician. If I try to click into one of them and edit it, I wouldn't be able to because I did not create that part. So keep that in mind as well. Let's go to meters now. Meters is used for tracking specific measures such as truck mileage or number of hours used on an equipment. So I have one assigned to me called car mileage. I can do things like enter a meter reading. So that's what this is useful for. And then let's go to vendors and customers. Say as a limited technician, I completed out a job and I have to invoice a customer. Maybe I need their information. This is a good place to kind of get that contact of their phone number or their email. Okay, let's now talk about creating and processing work orders. So the main bread and butter of what a limited tech user does is essentially these two things. They can create their own internal work orders. So an example is, let's say you're walking down a factory floor, and then you, as a limited tech user, you see a broken equipment and you want to repair it. you can create one on your end. You can do things like adding an image or using the QR code function. You can create one-time work orders called reactive ones, or even recurring ones called preventative maintenance, or PM for short. You can also process out your work orders assigned to you from an admin. And I'll show you how to do things like changing the status, adding a timer, and utilizing the updates section. All right, let's minimize this web app for an admin. And let's go ahead and create a work order as a limited technician user. So from here, click on that blue circle you see with the plus sign. So once you do that, you can add a work order title. For simplicity's sake, I'll just title it WO, short for work order. You can do things like adding a description. If this is urgent, I can set it as high. If it's not, then maybe it's low priority. I can do things like adding an image. You can choose one that already exists from your phone, or you can take a picture. So I'll take a picture of my keyboard and pretend that's an equipment right there. I can annotate things for clarity by using these different features below. So say there was a specific damage, and I can mark that to make my point. So I can press OK, press done. I can also do things such as adding a location or even an asset. Important thing to note is if you're creating work orders as a limited tech, you're automatically going to be assigned. So my limited tech user in my account, her name's Jenny, so she's always going to be assigned there. You see that QR code icon? If your assets have QR codes to them, you can scan them. So that's the unique feature about this app. And then here are some other things you can do. You can assign like a due date. You can even assign like a checklist right here. Say I want to add that. And then if it's a one-time work order, I can just leave it as that. If I want to create like a recurring work order, say this was more of inspection like every month rather than a one-time fix, that's what I utilize this section for, repeating schedule. So I'm going to go ahead, submit that work order. I'll show you how that looks like. So let's click on that. So you can see that work order with those details that I've inputted are all shown here. All right, so let's talk about processing work orders from the ones that an admin assigned you. So let's say my admin, which is me, I assigned this HVAC repair work order to my limited tech user. Then what that limited tech user can do is, so Jenny here, she can open this up, HVAC repair. What you can do is change the status. Open means it's a new work order, but work has to be done. On hold means it's paused. In progress means work is currently being done on, and complete means it's finished. I can do things like starting a timer. And once you automatically do that, it changes the status from either open, on hold to in progress. So that's a unique feature there. I can also do things such as leaving an update note. So with this one right here, let's take a look. Let's say my admin says, hey, how's everything going? Then as a limited tech user, what I can do is I can mention them. And then I can say almost wrapping up. And once I send that, it's pretty much a back and forth communication with you, your admin, and your other team members there. Okay, so after you do that, another unique feature with this is you can also add reminders. So let's say this wasn't due until maybe a few days from now. Looks like this one here is due on June 1st. And I can add a personal reminder if I didn't do it today. Let's say the day before around 4:10 p.m., I'll set a reminder. So then I can make sure that I'm just being accountable to completing this work order. Here are some support resources we have to offer. This is here to provide any additional guidance in case you have any questions. Definitely feel free to provide some feedback or leave any comments if you found this helpful. Other than that, until next time, have a great rest of your day.